Well, hello, everybody. Chief Meteorologist Andrew Panero here live in the studio again, and it feels great. How is everybody doing? Bring up some comments here. Google Podcast died today, so they must have been like, let's give Andrew another chance. Well, it's good to see you again, Raymond, on here. And I see Rusty. Thank you for joining. Delvin and Raymond are regulars, so Rusty, I appreciate you fairly new to the channel and joining in on the live stream discussion, because we do got quite a bit to talk about what's going on right now. But first, I want to hear from everybody. How is everybody doing? Does everything also look good? Does everything sound good? I think this is a little bit too much in the way there. Maybe that's a little bit better. The EU had the latest start to daylight saving time for in 28 years. My first live chat. Yes, rain does suck. Especially when the rain is mixed in with a little bit of wind, and some of that wind could be rotating aloft, some of that wind could be making its way down, as it seems like it is in a lot of places right now. Sounds good. Awesome. Thank you. I tried to also the intro music get a little dark and gloomy, scary kind of music because that's what's happening out there right now. And also, as usual, if you haven't seen Rusty, with these live streams, little drink. So the drink of the night. This is an interesting one. I don't know how well you can see it, but kind of looks like iced tea. So I was thinking, maybe like a Long Island iced tea. I'll call this something like because it's with Jameson. I still had Jameson left over from St. Patrick's Day. So with Jameson, so I was thinking like an Irish something like that, Irish iced tea. But then it may make people think of a Long Island iced tea, and a Long Island iced tea has a lot of liquors in it. This only has two, Jameson and Grand Marnier. So I was asking a couple of buddies, and they're like, "Well, it's gonna be a fun night with that." And in Irish, a slang term for fun is not drish, crake. So he named this for me the Grand Crake. So again, this is Jameson, Grand Marnier, and a little bit mixed in of orange soda and Coke to give it that like iced tea kind of look. So here's to the Grand Crake. And yes, it is quite delicious. And it's fairly simple. Equal parts of the Grand Marnier and the Jameson, and then again equal parts of the orange soda and the Coke. I see. It seems like we have somewhat of a repeat of April 3rd. Most of the areas hit 50 years ago tomorrow are under tornado watch. Wow, that was I didn't actually know that. So thank you for sharing. That's quite interesting. Yes, here's to the weather. Okay. Let's jump right in now. I did send this out. Oh, I do have to send this out to a couple other people here. There we go. That is now shared out. Oh, I almost forgot to turn on I do not disturb to recording in progress. That looks good there. All right. Yeah, Delvin, compared to just yes, I finally see one of my friends Ahmed is watching. Yes. So you text me there, and yes, this is live, so poster stuck. There we go. Cheers, Ahmed. You're live with Joe and Joe. You should say hi to them by stream bombing. I have talked with them, with Joe Chaffee at least, about doing a combined one. About doing a combined stream, but focus moved to the mic. Did it? I don't know what you mean. Focus moved to the mic. I mean, like me at the mic. Not on you. Ah, I see. When I turn away, it's not on me. Yes. All right. So looks like they are live, Joe and Joe. If we do eventually do a stream together, that might come down the road, but at least for right now, we're gonna do our own thing because we got a lot of stuff separately to talk about. All right, let me bring up some of the weather maps here. This over here. All right. Oh, it's autofocus on the mic. Oh, I see. Hang on a second. Let me see if I can fix that. All right, I did just change it. Wait, can I don't know if I can control that, but I did just change it to manual. I always forget to change the focus. Hang on here. And Raymond, don't you worry, it's right here. Let's see. Let's see. Ah, I see what's going on. Do you have some remote controls for that?